Lesson 9.2a and b, measures of variations and box and whisker plots. You need 9.2a, measures of variation, to graph box and whisker plots. So we do them together. Here's what measures of variations are. They're used to describe the distribution of the data. The range is the difference between the greatest and least data value. So you find the range by taking the biggest minus the smallest number in the list. So you're going to want to put these numbers in order very first thing. Going to put them in order from least to greatest. You take the biggest number minus the smallest number. That's the range. That's how far they're spread out. Then what you end up doing is splitting the numbers into 4 sections. That's where they get the word quartiles. You know, a quarter, 4 quarters make up $1, right?
Yeah.
4 quartiles make up a whole set of numbers. So you find the middle of the set's the median. So when you find the median, that splits the set into 2 sections. Then you take the 2 sections and you split them in half. Once you do that, you have 4 equal parts. Okay, so that's what these quartiles are. You have quartile 1, 2, 3, and then of course 4, but when you're looking at these, you have the median, and then you split them to a lower quartile and an upper quartile. So those are your quartiles, and they're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, or you could think of them as lower quartile and upper quartile. There's a range within that as well. So the upper quartile minus the lower quartile is something called an interquartile range. I'll tell you what that all stands for in just a minute. So measures of variation are taking a list of numbers, finding these important parts, putting them on a graph, and making something called a box and whisker plot. Also, box and whisker plot, so the main part of it is literally a box, and from each end you draw what looks like whiskers. Well, there's a limit to how long those whiskers can be. I know it sounds kind of crazy. There's a limit to how long they can be. If you have very extreme values, which we also called what? Outliers. If you have outliers, then you have to show that in a different way. You don't want the box and whisker plot to be completely lopsided. There's a limit to how long the whiskers can be. Okay, now a lot of this deals with, first of all, putting the numbers in order. That's your first job every time. You're going to find the range. The range helps you also determine how long your number line is going to be. You draw a box and whisker plot on a number line. But once you do that, you're doing a lot of finding medians. Did anybody have trouble finding medians for today or the day before? If you can find a median, you're going to be pretty good at this. You find a median of the whole set. That splits the set into 2 sections. Then you find a median of each of those sections. If you can do that, you've got this. So you're doing a lot of median finding, okay? So it's like taking a Snickers bar and cutting it in half for you and your friend, and then 2 more friends show up. So you have to split the halves in half, right? For 4 equal sections. That's what this is about. And 4 equal sections, out of that Snickers bar, if you had only got a fourth of it, what percentage would you get? Jacob? 25%. So in this box and whisker plot, each section represents 25% of the data. Okay, so keep that in mind also, 25% of the data for each section. So let's go a little bit further with this. If I talk about this a little bit, the one that's listed here, it says the number of votes received for student government president, and they take the numbers and notice how they put them in order. Okay? They put the numbers in order. They take that and take 21 minus 2. They find out that the whole range of the whole set is 19. Okay, so they put them in order. They have, let me see how many numbers there are in their list really quick. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 11. Okay, so the very first thing they do is they find the one in the middle, which was 15. That was their median. Okay? Now, once you find that median, you have a lower half and you have an upper half. You see that? The median's not in either half because it's in the middle, right? It's just, there's 5 below it and 5 above it. So that's important to know. When there's one median in the middle, it's not in either half. So then what they do is they look at this lower half and they've got 2, 10, 12, 13, 14. They just look at those 5. What's the median of those 5, Liam?
12.
12, okay? So that is called my LQ, the lower quartile. That's my lower quartile. So the 15, I guess I should have written in there, the 15 was the median. It splits the set in 2. The lower half, they find the median of it, lower quartile. Okay, look at the upper half. The upper half is 17, 18, 18, 20, 21. What's the median of those 5 numbers? So right here, and we would call that the upper quartile. Okay? Upper quartile. UQ, upper quartile. Okay? So those 3 numbers are really important. The other 2 that are important, they're called the lower extreme, which is the lowest number in the list. I'm going to call it the LE, lower extreme. And then 21 is the upper extreme. It's the biggest number in the list. Those 5 numbers that we just found, that's how you make a box and whisker plot.
So that's it?
That's it. You find those 5. So again, you put the numbers in order from least to greatest. You find the median. I would circle it. You look at the lower half. You find the median of the lower half. I'd circle it. Find the median of the upper half. I'd circle it. The numbers at the ends, those are your extremes. Circle it. You get those 5 numbers, you are ready to do your box and whisker plot. Okay? So, now, I do need to talk before we get too far. I do need to talk about what you do in case there is an outlier. Okay? So, here's what we would do. This, I wish I could change this to, hold on. All right, so I have a number line, and we know that it has to go from 2 to 21. So I've got a number line there. Now, you see the numbers I have circled? Those are the numbers that help make the box and whisker plot. So above the number line, not on it, just right above, I'm going to put a dot. So there's 2, there's 12, there's 15, there's 18, and there's 21. You see that? You see how I put those 5 dots in order? Okay, the 3 in the middle, those are your box. And you would do this. You do this. The 2 quartiles are where you make the box. See that? Where the median is, you put a little segment in there. Can you see that? That's the box. Then you would normally draw your whiskers to the extremes, but you got to be careful. Remember the part I said you don't want it to be lopsided? Here's where you have to check if you've got outliers. So do you see how long the box is? Right? This is the LQ, isn't it? And this is the UQ. Okay, we're going to figure out, it's called the interquartile range. Interquartile range. How did we find, oops, I did wrangle. How did you find the regular range? What did we do? Liam?
You subtracted the largest number from the smallest.
Largest minus the smallest. Well, interquartile range is upper quartile minus lower quartile. That's how long the box is. So for our numbers, it's 18 minus 12. What's my interquartile range? 6. Now here's the rule on this. The whiskers can only be 1.5 times the length of the box. 1.5. It's a preset number. Never going to change. If you take the 6, that's how long the box is, times 1.5, that's 9. The whiskers can only be 9 units long. So look on this side. Look on the right. From the right-hand side of the box, right here, at 18, up to 21, is that longer than 9? No, so we can put that whisker in. That side's done. The left-hand side. So I've got the whisker at, did we say it was 12? 12 down to 2. How far away is that? That's too far, isn't it? So what you do is you draw, how far can it go? What's 9 units away? So we can draw it to 3, and then you're going to put a little star for that one. That's showing it's an outlier. 2 is an outlier. Okay, I know I've given you a ton of steps, but this is what you're going to do. You're going to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. You're going to find your range. Biggest minus the smallest. Write that down. Here's my range. That's how long it is. Plus, you need that to know how big your number line is going to be. Okay? Find your median, your middle. You're going to mark off your lower half and your upper half. You're going to find the median of each of those, circling them as you go. Circle the numbers at the ends. Put dots, all 5 dots, above your number line. Draw in the box. See how long the box is. What's that called? How wide the box is. What's that called? Interquartile range. UQ minus LQ. Take that times what number? What's the limit? 1.5. Your whiskers cannot be any longer than that. If they are, if there's numbers farther away than that, then those are outliers. Don't draw your whisker all the way to that. Just draw it to its limit. Okay, now, does everybody have that drawn? Did everybody attempt to write that, I hope? Because I want to show you a quick one where there's an even number of numbers. So here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to give you an even number of numbers just to get this done. So let's say we have these numbers. I'm already going to have them in order. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there you go. 2, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9. That's my list of numbers. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest, and I've already done that for you, right? There they are. Then I'm going to find the range. How do you find the range? 9 minus 2. So this thing has a range of 7. Everybody got that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to put my number line down here. And we're going to go, let's say there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I'm just going to number every so many. Okay. All right. There's 8 numbers in my list. What am I going to do about the median? What's the median?
Middle.
It's in the middle. What's in the middle of this set?
5.
Is it?
Yeah. It's 6. 6 and 7.
Isn't it these two? Right? The two in the middle? So I would have to say 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 divided by 2, what's my median?
6.5.
6.5. So my median is 6.5. It's not even really in the list. Now, this is the part that I want to make sure you saw. So my lower half goes from 6 down, and my upper half goes from 7 up.
You just split it out.
Yeah, so those two in the middle, the 6 goes with the lower half, the 7 goes with the upper half. Remember, the median's not in either one. But remember how my median's really not in the list this time? Because it's the one in the middle of those two. So my lower half is 2, 2, 4, and 6. What's the median of my lower half?
2.5.
Not 2.5. Isn't it right in here?
3.
It's 3.
That's what I want.
The median of the upper half, wouldn't it be right there? So what's that going to be? Between 8 and 8. 8. And then my lower extreme and my upper extreme. So I would dot. There's 2, 3, 6.5, 8, and 9. So here's the box. It's between 2 and 4. Draw your segment in that middle. So I got to find my interquartile range. UQ minus LQ. 8 minus 3. 5. You can look right now, or either of those whiskers going to be, it's going to be times 1.5. So 7.5. They're not even anywhere near 7.5 away. So you can go ahead and do this. Okay, so let's look at this. This, every section that I'm pointing to is what percent of the data? 25% all the way through, right? What percentage is the whole box?
100.
Nope. Yeah, this one to here. What percentage is that? 50. What percent of the data is 3 or higher? 75, because it would be, yeah, all three. Three sections. So each section is 25%.